All right, new week, new Grandmaster. Also, last week, last Grandmaster of the season. So this week we got Warden Nothing. Arguably, probably one of the easiest Grandmasters out there for anyone to do. So definitely, if you're gonna do some solo runs or do solo for the first time, this one's as good as any to give that a try. Especially the changes they're going to make to Arms Dealer and Lake of Shadows next season, probably going to make those ones much harder, and definitely probably promote this one to by far the easiest, I think, in my opinion. Anyway, so another reason this week that you're going to want to be farming this one is, of course, Wendigo is the weapon of the week. So with the buffs coming to grenade launchers also for Lightfall and also the nerfs for linears, this one is going to be contender for one of the most useful in the heavy slot for boss damage anyways. So definitely run this one. For me, like, I'm going to run this a few times because there's a couple different variations and rolls that I'm going to want, right? So spike grenades, of course, but I'm super interested in Cascade Point and its usage possibly in the future. Full Court, of course. Frenzy is always nice when you're solo. And, you know, auto-loading holster. Just, there's tons of variations in this weapon that could be great. Like even Golden Tricom, you know? It's arc, get an arc grenade, get 50% damage increase. I mean, there's lots of potential for lots of different rolls. So God roll, I think, for this one's going to depend on just what you're doing with it and the circumstance, right? So having a couple different rolls for this one, not the worst idea in the world. And plus, it's so easy to get, as we're going to see, whether you're solo or with a team. So definitely, by all means, run this one. So for Grandmaster, for Warden of Nothing, just a couple things you need to know that's going to impact your loadouts there is one has all three champions. So we got Unstoppable, Barrier, and Overload, and it's a solar burn. So solar heavy is good, you know, and then you got things like if you're alone and want to be able to do all three champions, right? You're probably best case scenario is you're gonna have two weapons to do the champions and then your grenade or ability to do the third one, right? So for example, you can have Archer Stasis to stun Unstoppable for your melee ability, or your grenade, void, or stasis to do overloads, right? So picking between one of those two, not the worst idea. So for me personally, what I like running here is I got Wither Horde grenade launcher, right? Because it's good, and then I can do weak and clear, and also do unstoppables with it. I just have my Amalon Solar Pulse Rifle. It has adaptive munitions, which is super convenient for barriers. And then just for unstoppables, I'm just going to let my void grenades take care of them, using Lord Kelvin's Basilisk. So that's just me. I mean, just at the end of the day, just do whatever works for you and whatever you're most comfortable with, of course. So now for this one, the first mini encounter, you know, you're going to have some goblins spawning in the center platform there. There's going to be an overload in the distance. If you do get too close to that platform, you will aggro the overload and he'll come towards you. So if you just want to take it super casual, just clear out all the goblins first and then push forward to get the aggro of the overload. Now, you can't creep up on the overload using cover if he doesn't see you, just to get closer if you're using a sub machine gun, let's say, to stun him. But for me, I'm using grenades, so I kind of want his attention because I want him to get closer to me so I can, you know, ping him with my grenade and then just use my heavy just to burn him down faster. But again, it's up to you. Depends on your loadout. So you can sneak up onto him, you can do him from a distance, or you can pull him in towards you and take care of him semi-close. But either way, no big deal. Now you get to the trains here. Of course, you can activate the trains and skip ahead. Now, as soon as you get to the end of this first track, that train's going to stop, of course, so you don't have to worry about the trains anymore, and then you drop down to do the second trains. These ones will not stop, so, you know, just time it dropping down. You might want to clear out that goblin there, just so he doesn't bother you, especially if you're solo. Now this next part, you got kind of like a mini Hydra boss and an Unstoppable. So again, depending on your loadout, you can clear them all out from a distance if that's how your loadout's built. If you are going to push forward and have to do that Unstoppable up close, just obviously take out the mini Hydra first. So totally up to you. Or, I mean, you can just run past that Unstoppable, bait him onto the next train track, and the train will kill him. So yeah, just trains will kill anything they hit, so you can definitely use that to kill an Unstoppable as well. Just maybe hit him with a bullet first, just in case it doesn't count as your kill when the train kills him, but it's not a big deal. So after that, you know, kill this barrier here again from a distance or up close, depending on loadout. And you can either jump on top of the rail and run through the left, or you can take your Sparrow down the right. Just remember the train sequence on the right. If you're doing that, it's like something along the lines of one train left, one train right, two trains left, one train right, and then back. So it kind of rotates that way. So, but I mean, if you just want to do it safe, just take the left track and just walk your way through there. So once you get to the end of the track there's going to be another Unstoppable, some Vex, you know, some explosive barrels. Definitely I would kill the explosive barrels before you jump down, but nothing too crazy here. And a barrier way off in the distance. So again, take them out from a distance if your loadout lets you do so. And definitely not one of the most dangerous barriers either. So it should be easy. Super easy, actually. Now, I guess the first proper checkpoint when you get in here is this part right here. So you're greeted by a couple snipers and some goblins. Take them out first. Obviously, the snipers hurt a little bit more than normal because they are shooting solar and there's a solar burn. So just keep that in mind now. This next part, there's a mini Hydra boss up here, yellow bar Hydra. So easiest thing for him is just to hang out at the stairs here, you know, pop him with, like me, for example, just a Wither Horde and some few shots there. Take him out first. Now, you can do this whole encounter right from this spot, right from the stairs. You can literally do the whole thing. You know, you just got to clear out the two barriers on the left and right, clear enough ads down the center there, and after that, the proper Vex boss is going to spawn in, and again, you can kill him right from these stairs too, actually. Like, so the easiest, most stress-free way, as long as you don't care about time too much, is just, you can do this whole encounter right from this spot on the stairs. Now, obviously, like, it is still super easy, so I'm not going to do that in this example. I'm just going to push left first, just from habit. You can do right first too, but I'm going to go left first, kill that barrier, and then peek my head to the right here. Sometimes I push a little forward, take out that barrier. Just keep in mind that there's quite a few goblins spawning in over and over. I want to say it's like 3 waves in that center lower area, and then another 3 waves on that upper area, that kind of beside where that left barrier is, but something like that. So just keep in mind, if you clear them all out, there's probably more spawning in. So, and if they're shoot solar too, so again, like if it gets totally out of control and you're getting your butt kicked, that's why just some goblins spawned in. And of course, try to time your stuns on the champion around the trains, but I don't think you'll have a problem with this area anyways. When you do push up to the top, if you are doing it this way, to spawn the proper boss in, you have to kill, or I find anyways, for me, he usually spawns in after I kill like roughly about half the normal basic goblins in there and one of the minotaurs. Oh, also a little side note there, if the minotaur on the left when you're up here catches sight of you, he's going to charge you and he's going to come up from behind you at these stairs here. So he's caught me by surprise a few times before, so I was ready for him. Anyways, so again, he's not a big deal, but just keep in mind he's got a void shield too. So if he does sneak up on you and you're not ready for him and you don't have a way to bust his void shield, like it might be a little bit of a chore taking him out. So anyways, boss spawns in, wipe the boss out. Again, he's going to teleport back and forth, but you know all this. We've probably all done this strike a billion times and the mechanics for this boss doesn't change on the difficulty. It still works the same. There you go. Now you're done the first proper checkpoint, really, and then honestly, you're almost done this whole Grandmaster. So as far as checkpoints go. So next part, super easy. There's going to be 2 unstoppables, some snipers you kind of got to watch out for as you're going through it. So if you don't know, there's just one right here, one right here. Plus there is actually 2 more by the door, which I just like to push up right hand side rather than just going up down the center there. And if you just go the right hand side here, almost every time the snipers don't even know you're there, so you can just take everything out in peace. And even if you want, you don't have to kill the rest of the ads. After you kill the 2 champions, if you're fast enough, you can just book it to the next checkpoint, no problem either. So totally up to you. Spend as much time on here as you'd like, you know. If you want some heavy or ammo, by all means, just stick around, kill everything. But up to you. Now, the next section. So this is the old Prison of Elders arena there. Now you start off with this, with every single type of champion in here. So you have 3 barriers total, you have an unstoppable, and you have an overload, all in this room. So just what I like to do is take out the unstoppable or overload first, right? Also clear out the snipers that are there. There's 2 snipers, so clear them out. But and then start working on the champions, just however you want, honestly, it doesn't matter. Just the only thing I suggest, leave 1 champion alive and probably one of the Vex Hobgoblin barriers, because they're kind of the least dangerous out of everything. So leave at least 1 of them alive. So with that 1 alive and everything else dead, what you can do is you can run around the entire map, setting off all the mines that are there. Now you don't have to do all of them, but specifically all the ones around C, where C is going to be, and all the ones around where B is going to be. So that's just super important later on, especially if you're solo. It's kind of a big deal. There's nothing worse than when you're trying to run to a mine and there's a bunch of ads and then you get slowed down. It's just for safety reasons. Clear them all out, around C and B specifically. So when you're all set and ready to start kind of part 2 of this whole encounter, kill the last champion, and then you're going to see that the bomb A is going to spawn, the one that you have to disarm. Now, you don't have to step in that circle yet. So how this works, and this is kind of the important mechanic that makes this like way easier. So if you don't know already, how this works is you just have to step into the ring to start disarming each bomb before the counter gets to 0. As soon as you step in there, that counter is paused, like it doesn't continue counting down. So you can literally wait until the counter's at 1 second left until everything wipes to get in there, and it'll freeze it at 1 and you're totally free and safe. So keeping that in mind, what works best for me anyways, it's not the only way, but what works best for me is I kill that last champion, start it up, and then I'm just gonna start on this walkway right here where ads are gonna spawn out. Once I take care of them, I'm just gonna follow the path along the walkway, clearing out all the ads. So there's gonna be a barrier champ in there. I'm gonna take him out, and I'm just gonna keep following this walkway, clearing out all the enemies around B, because there's an unstoppable there. Now there is also an overload hanging out kind of out in the field there, fighting Cabal. You don't even have to touch that thing. So, and I think most of you guys know that too. As long as you don't do damage to it, it's just gonna disappear. You're still gonna get platinum, everything like that, okay? So anyways, I just follow this walkway, I clear out the unstoppable, clear out some of the ads around B, not all of them. So if you do clear them all out, they're gonna get replaced by 1 or 2, but it's not a big deal. Now, after that, then I run to A and start disarming A, if that makes sense. So I've cleared the path already for me to go to B after I'm done with A. So I finish A, I run to B. There's 1 or 2 ads left, but I just kind of duck around this cover because I don't really care about killing ads. There will be a guy that spawns on this platform on the top right there, but that's fine. Clear him out. As soon as I have B, then I take the long way back around to C. So again, it's no rush. You just have to get to C before the counter gets to 0. That's all. So don't panic. It's no rush. Even you have time if you want. If there's a lot of goblins in the yellow bar minotaur there to, you can clear some of them out first before you get to C. But you probably have a super or something too, so no big deal. So that's all I do for this part. So it's super easy. Take my time, clear out the ads. Once the ads are clear, then I start disarming A, and then I go to B, disarm B, and then I run to C if I need to take a few seconds to kill some things at C before getting on. It's no problem, no big deal, because I got lots of time still. And that's it. And then after that's done, the big Cabal boss is gonna spawn, or mini boss. Take them out however you please. So me, just from habit, from when Grandmasters used to be harder, I would run to kind of this little area because you have lots of cover, and I just take them out from there. So again, not as big a deal anymore because it is way easier than it used to be, just with changes to resilience and burns and that kind of stuff. But no big deal. All right, now before you do anything else, this is the most important thing of the entire Grandmaster for Warden of Nothing, and that is to let all the dialogue finish before moving on to the next checkpoint. So there's some bugs in this where checkpoints aren't loading properly, and if you don't let everything finish talking, you run the risk of the proper boss checkpoint not loading, which means you won't get credit for doing this. You'll kill the boss still, the boss will still spawn, you'll just notice some enemies are missing, but you won't get credit. You're not going to get a Wendigo. So if you're farming for Wendigo and that bug happens, you're not going to get anything from it. It's not going to count as a clear. You're not going to get the adept weapon of the week, none of that. So just as a precaution, what you want to do is just let the drifter, let the prison of elders servitor thing, let all that stuff finish talking 100% before moving on to the next checkpoint. And as you're moving, if you hear them start talking again, just stop in your tracks and let them finish, just for safety's sakes. That's all. So just keep that in mind anyways. You don't want to waste the whole run for nothing. Anyways, moving on to the boss room. Now, after you activate this trap and you get sucked down that hole, if you're with a team and all 3 of you get sucked down that hole at the same time, everybody should just jump around a little bit as you're falling, just to give yourself some space, because there's also another glitch where if you're like kind of touching each other, you're gonna get killed by the architects half the time, so that's not good either, to die. So just if you're all falling together, just tap jump a couple times, you'll space out just kind of naturally from doing that, and then you're totally safe to make the fall properly. Now once you get to the bottom, there's going to be again a whole bunch of champions. So there's 2 barriers, there's an unstoppable and an overload. So if you can kill any of them from a distance, like before jumping into the arena, by all means do that. Just keep in mind, if you kill them all before jumping over, they're probably all going to respawn and you're going to have to do it all from scratch. So I usually take out at least 1, sometimes 2. I never usually kill more than 2 though before jumping in, even when I'm solo. So keep that in mind. Now, if you're going to cheese this, okay, probably what you want to do is you want to leave the hobgoblin barrier again, just like upstairs there. So kill everything except that 1 champion. And now let's talk about this cheese, okay? Because you got 2 options to cheese, 2 different spots. So the first spot to get to, again, this might take a little bit of practice, but if you do need this spot, is on the left-hand side of the map. You just jump through this hole in the wall that's right here. Now, the easiest way I find to get up there is damage the champion until he puts up his barrier, pop his barrier, and then when he's stunned, just jump on this little thing here, this object, and then through the hole in the wall. And then as soon as you grapple this thing at the hole, jump up to this spot here. Now, I like this spot better than the other one. You're a little bit more open to enemy fire, so enemies can still hit you up here. You might see the odd grenade make its way up here too, so watch out for that. But you have more opportunity to shoot at the boss, which is why I like it. So it makes cheesing it go by a little bit faster, which is what you want to do if you're going to be farming Wendigo. Now, if it gets a little too hectic there, just with some snipers or grenades flying up to you, you can always jump across to this side here. And you're totally safe. You can kind of take a moment to take a break, let all the enemies aggro each other again, and then jump back to this spot to damage the boss. You can even damage the boss from this spot too, like dropping grenades on him, but it's just harder when you're using a linear from up on the roof here. Now, you can bring a whole team up here as well. So this spot easily fits 2 or 3 people, you know. One person might have to hang out on the roof more than the platform on the side damaging, but if you need to bring a whole team in here, by all means, it's easy to do. Now, the second spot, which is pretty famous too, I guess, I think most of you know this spot too, but just in case you don't, I'll show it to you, is right here. So after you kill that barrier, you jump outside of the map, and there's an invisible platform here that you can walk on. Now, to line this up, what you want to aim for is kind of the second little vertical part of the railing here. Aim for that. Okay, so again, this one might take a bit of practice finding that spot because it's just like a really small little invisible platform that you can't see. But again, aim for about the second post on this broken fence and you should be okay. Now, just personally, I don't like this spot because it's just less opportunity to shoot at the boss, and I just feel like it always takes like way longer. So it's up to you though. I mean, or by all means, like I see plenty of people solo burn the boss down too without using any cheese spots. So up to you. Just remember, from this spot, you're not safe from his fire attack. Like when you do jump up and down, it is going to damage you. So when he's doing his fire area of effect damage thing, maybe just duck and just wait for him to finish that mechanic. But that's it. Now, even though this is a solo player's guide, I'll just quickly talk about if you're with a team for damaging the boss, if you do happen to have some friends and doing farming, just the method for the boss here, and it's super complicated, so pay attention. Basically, you're gonna all get together. You're gonna be in a well, or maybe a bubble, or maybe nothing at all. You're gonna all take out your heavies, which is probably gonna be a linear, probably cataclysm, or if you're using rockets, that's fine too. But anyways, you're gonna take out your heavy. When the boss spawns in, you're just gonna go nuts shooting him. Just shoot him a whole bunch, and then he'll be dead. And then that's the end. It'll literally take you, I don't know, 5 seconds. It's really not that big a deal. But if you guys are new, or maybe like, you know, you just want to do it casual and you want to do the cheese spot, by all means go ahead. But you definitely don't need to for this one. Like I said, this is probably gonna be the easiest Grandmaster that ever existed starting next season, after they kind of buff Arms Dealer and Lake of Shadows, which they're about to do. So, and that's all I have to say about this one. So if you're kind of newer and this helped you out, that's great. If you already knew all this and you still watch anyways, that's awesome too. Thanks a bunch. Honestly, it probably will take you longer to watch this guide than it will to do this strike, honestly. Anyways, that's it. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Good luck this week getting Wendigo.